Good morning, Randy T-Bird here. April, well, it's in April, it's late April. I'm not going to give away my time or location in case the virus police are messing with people. Out here in Arizona, I am running south on Interstate 10. I'm going to go somewhere different today. When I take my shorter rides, I do take a lot of the same routes, so this is a little different. Just cleared town. I'm south of town right now, and I'm going to head for PIcacho Peak today, which is south about a little more than halfway to Tucson from Phoenix. I'm using my cruise control. I've never used that before. Well, not more than for a mile or so. It's kind of interesting. I-10 here is a pretty long, straight drag, and I thought it'd be a good place to try it out. Traffic's still light here. It's relatively early in the morning. Nice, cool morning, probably around 60, 62. It's that time of year. It's going to change fast. In fact, the weather report is looking for high 90s at the end of next week, so we'll find out if the heat kills off this coronavirus thing. They don't really know, I guess. They're not really expecting it to, but they don't really know that much about this affliction yet, so let's hope for the best. Get Arizona clear, opened up, and back for business. It's kind of a bummer being able to, you can go for a ride, but you can't go anywhere. I mean, you can drive by places, all the parks are closed and everything. In fact, where I'm going today, I think the park is closed, but I can at least get up to the initial parking lot and look around, give you some local history. An earlier video I did several months ago, when I still had the Slim, I went out to Coolidge, which is off to the off to my left here, past I see some mountains ahead, and you go up over a pass into there. But I'm not going to Coolidge today. There's no real reason to go there. I apologize if you live there, but I can't go to any restaurants or anything, so you know, so much for breakfast. So I guess I'll be stopping at one of the truck stops for a snack and a drink sometime this morning. It's really unusual for I-10 to be this, well, deserted almost. I mean, there's cars out here, but they're spaced way apart. Normally it's very busy here on I-10, being the main thoroughfare on the cross-country route if you're going from California to basically points east. I've been on this road. I've gone down through Tucson into El Paso, Texas. Before I bought a bike from Barnett's Harley Davidson years ago in El Paso, and I delivered the unfortunately purchased Buell back to Barnett's and bought a Sportster. I've talked about Buells before. Well, it's one of those great ideas, poor execution things, but I was happy to get rid of the Buell. And the Sportster was fun. I rode it for a couple of years, 3 years, put some miles on it. It came from an area where there was a lot of humidity, I guess, because the gas tank was full of rust. That caused me some grief for a while. But I got to the point where I could strip a CV carburetor on the side of the road in about 10 minutes, clean it all out, and have it back going again. You could start to feel the thing starting to surge and buck on you when the carburetor was starting to clog up. But this rust that was in the gas tank was just really hard to get out of there. I ended up buying a whole placard of plastic dirt bike gas filters. Would catch most of that stuff, and I just carried them with me in my saddlebags, and there must have been 12 or 15 of them on this placard. And I finally I got to the point where when it started to clog up, I could just look at the filter and see that it was 3/4 black, or blackish, reddish black from the rust, and I could just pull over, change the filter without having to strip the carburetor. But I got very intimate with CV carburetors back in that day. eventually I was able to get the gas tank flushed out, and then that problem ended. But I liked that bike. It was an old solid mount Evo Sportster. It was a 1200S, and it was a lot of fun to ride. But like the old Sportsters, they vibrated like a cement mixer, and so I would if you go anywhere over 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour for any distance, I mean, it was really, really uncomfortable. But it's a lot of fun in town, and I liked it. And, I remember we went on a ride to Tucson and with some friends, and we were burning pretty hard, 95 miles an hour, and all four of my turn signals fell off the bike, were dangling by the wires. So I ended up coming back to town with duct tape on the holding the turn signals on, which was an interesting thing. The bolts were just gone; they're just lost. After that, I just took the turn signals off. Can't have stuff falling off. Anyway, it's funny. It used to be one of the first things when you get a new bike is you pull the turn signals off, and I've got kind of used to using them these days, so I don't take them off anymore. But you know, back in the day, the first thing we do is figure out a way to make the exhaust louder, take the turn signals off, and usually get a new seat, because the stock Harley seats in the day were awful, and depending on what model you're riding right now, they're not so great right now. That's why I changed over to the Sundowner seat. Very comfortable. I was looking at those Saddleman seats, these step-up seats, but I don't think they fit the styling of the bike. They're too angular, too sharp of angles on them. They don't look quite right. They look better on like a Street Bob, or God forbid, a Fat Bob. You know, I'm not a fan of Fat Bobs, you probably figured out. Anyway, I'm going to be recording some clips today and putting them all together later in the day. The weather looks awesome today. There's very few clouds, just high thin stuff. It's a little cloudy yesterday in the morning, but it cleared out. I went to a couple Harley shops yesterday with that to get the family out of the house, just to alleviate some of the cabin fever. My wife was furloughed, and she's been stuck at home most of the time, and that'll drive you crazy, especially she's a worker, and she's always been used to getting up and going to work, so it's different for her. So anyway, we got out and visited a couple Harley shops, and headed back to town. Anyway, I will be having more later, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, it's Randy T-Bird. I'm back. I spared you the long, flat expanse of I-10, and now I'm getting closer to PIcacho Peak, where my destination for today. Coming through an area around a little decrepit town called PIcacho, Arizona. If you live there, I apologize, but it is what it is. And there's these huge pecan groves. If I'm wrong, somebody that's local correct me, but there's a massive expanse of pecan groves here that, or some sort of nut anyway, that goes through here, and looks like they're just about in full bloom already. And when I was a kid, we had a pecan grove behind the house I lived in here in Phoenix, and the lady used to pay us to pick up the ones that were down on the ground, and she'd let us have like a big old grocery bag of them. And my dad loved pecans, and it was kind of his obsession to get the whole nut out in one piece, including the bridge between the two sides. Every now and if we got one down like that, he was very happy with us if we got one out. Anyway, the groves run back here for a while. Here off in the near distance to the right, about my 1 o'clock position, is PIcacho Peak. Now, it's a state park. Its claim to fame, let me get around this truck. PIcacho Peak's claim to fame was that it was the only battle fought in Arizona during the Civil War. It was, they call it a battle, but it was more of a running skirmish. A Union Army Federal Patrol ran across by pure accident a Confederate group that was coming back from Mexico, and apparently it was a running gun battle. They fired some shots at each other off a horseback. I don't think there was even any casualties, but they escaped and went back to wherever, probably Texas is where they were headed. Quite a trip by horseback, I imagine, in those days. Hell, on any days, really. But that was the whole notoriety of the area. The only Civil War battle ever fought in Arizona, which is really kind of funny because it wasn't much of a battle. So, heck, they have a bigger body count in Maryville, Arizona every weekend. But I digress. I'm not sure what those mountains are called over there. I know that there is a some sort of telephone or radio towers up on the top. There's a road that goes to it. It's not a public accessible roads, but there's some pretty cool landscape around here. Its elevation is changing a little bit. It's about 1,500 feet elevation, where Phoenix is 1,100. When you head to Tucson, and the mountains there off in the distance are the it's Mount Lemmon and the Catalinas. That's just right around Tucson. A little hazy there, but anyway. I don't really know the names of a lot of these mountains out here, so I had a thing at work where we did a project in Tucson that was nearly a year long, so I was coming down here as many as 2 and 3 times a week in the car, and I got to know this road pretty well. My mom, my nearly 90-year-old mom, is living here just north of Tucson. I would go see her today, but for the COVID thing, I'm not gonna expose her to anything I may have been exposed to, whether I don't think I'm sick, but they say a lot of it is asymptomatic. You don't even know you've got it, so you're carrying the virus. So I'm not gonna take the chances of infecting my mom. We'll just have to talk by telephone. So there's a park here at PIcacho Peak, and I don't know if it's open or not. The state has deemed it necessary to close parks. I'm not sure why. I guess they figure too many people are going to get together, and whatever. I know I can at least get up the road and check it out. But it is a beautiful day. It's nice and warm. I went about 45 miles with my cruise control on. That was a new experience for me. That was pretty nice. And I went to you're just getting used to it. I went to increase my speed a little bit, and I guess I hit the button too hard and turned it off. The bike immediately decelerated, and I'm like, whoa. That was kind of unique, but I'm figuring it out. It does work just like a car's does. You up and down, you toggle it up and down to increase or decrease your speed by 1 mile per hour increments. So it was pretty cool. It was really weird riding without my hand on the throttle grip, or even just kind of laying my hand on there. Actually quite relaxing. So I wouldn't do it on any kind of twisties, but definitely on the long, flat, straight stretches like I-10 was definitely an advantage. So I concede there is a use for cruise control on motorcycles. There, coming up to the park here, not too much longer. There's some towers down there that'll indicate that we're getting close to the off-ramp. There's some, I think it's a RV park back in there. It looks like there's some people back in there. I don't know if that's the actual park. But this peak is pretty cool. It's got kind of a stark rock face. There it comes up out of the desert. For those of you who don't live in this part of the country, these are the kind of features we have. Just rock outcroppings in the middle of flat. I don't know the geography of it, but it looks like it could be some volcanic rock. There's some basalt looking stuff. It's kind of reddish color. And over there on the left, there's this rock. It's right out in the middle of a great big field, and it's just a big red rock. And always been kind of fascinated by that. Oh, here we are. We're coming up to it. Just a big forest of saguaro cactuses out here in the park. They're always interesting to me. Notice the truck traffic has started to pick up on I-10. That's usually one of the reasons I don't like going on I-10, is there's so many trucks, and they mess with your airstream and move you around. Having this windshield seems to help. It can be quite windy out here too. It's supposed to get windy later in the afternoon today, so I'll probably be home before then and mixing this video for everybody. Here we are, PIcacho Peak. Let's hope it's open. Yeah, there used to be one of those restaurants out here in the middle of nowhere, Nickerson Farms. It's kind of like a Stuckey's. Do y'all remember Stuckey's from when you were younger and traveling the country? It was just like a restaurant out in the middle of... It was always out in the middle of nowhere off an interstate. And kind of interesting. I know I've eaten there once before when it still existed. Ah, there's some awesome views here now. There's like sharp cliff faces there. Arizona State Parks. I'm gonna check this out. There's some cars coming down here, so maybe it is open. Caution, children at play. This is one of the beautiful areas in Arizona, and certainly one of the more beautiful areas in this central Arizona desert. Well, the flags are flying. Park fees. $7 a vehicle. $7 for a day pass. Oh, look at that view. Awesome. There's your Interstate 10 looking north towards Phoenix. Alright, come on. I'm gonna end this while I take care of business here. Okay, business taken care of. Now I'm running through the park. What an awesome view. Yeah, there's ramadas all over the place here. I'm gonna pick one out here and I'll run through the park a little bit and see what it has to offer. Friendly people here in Arizona. There's a guy got a XT250 on the front of his rig there. It sounds like fun. Why can't we park there? Ramada closed. A little elevation now. The view is awesome. Looks like a campground area coming up. You know, you see this from the road and it goes by pretty fast, but when you're actually up in the park, you can see some real great detail. And we're going down. No parking, no parking, no parking. This looks like I'm coming to the campground. I'm gonna have to turn around. Those mountains you see in the distance are probably a good 50 miles away. Again, with the lower traffic, the air quality has been awesome. I'm going to turn around here. I don't need to go to the campground. How about that? That was a nicely executed U-turn. What do you think? There's another view headed looks southwest, I believe. I'm hoping that you people that are shut in, not able to do anything, especially you people overseas in the UK and down in South Africa, Viper 918, hope this is a little more or less flat than what you've been commenting on, so you can see the topography of Arizona a little bit better. So my subscriptions have been increasing. Now I was up to, I believe, 115 as of today, and that's awesome. That is awesome. And those of you who have requested stickers, they're either in the mail or they will be on Monday. And my channel logo sticker came out really well. I really like it. And those of you folks that have sent me stickers in exchange and poker chips, thank you very much. I haven't done poker chips. I don't even know where to get it done. If you got any ideas, let me know. Right now I'm just starting out with the stickers, and it's really awesome meeting people from around the country and around the world, and I really like that, and I am really appreciative of your support and your... Can I go up there? Let me find out from Mr. Ranger here. Is there parking up there? Yeah, I just want to...
You just have to check it or park yourself in this lower one.
In the lower one? Down here?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. looking for a little place to park here. Looks like it's blocked off. Oh man. Well, I am just gonna stay right here. And if they come run me out, well, they come run me out. There's a train there for going down. There's some mainline tracks running down I-10 here. I don't know if you can hear that. You can hear rumbling up here. And Mr. Sean Smoke, if you happen to be watching my videos, well, there's a train for you. I know they're a big thing for you. Walk around a little bit. I got everything roped off. I guess trying to keep this social distancing thing going. That's a really long train. That's got to be a mile and a half long. Anyway, here's a view of the mountains. Awesome. It's kind of cool. There's a lone cactus sitting right up on the point of that mountain on that peak. It's kind of cool. Hey, there's a good looking bike. Wonder who owns that. Well, anyway, this is Randy T-Bird, and I thought I'd give you a view of my destination today. This is the PIcacho Peak State Park, about 80 miles from Phoenix. It's been a nice ride this morning, and I've still got the adventure of the way home. So, y'all take care. Remember to subscribe and like my videos. I sure appreciate it, and you all stay safe and healthy. We'll talk to you later.